All right, so good morning, everyone. I see we have like a good attendees already on a good Saturday morning. I just wanted to know from where you guys are joining from right before we dive what is best for business and what are we here for. Let's just get to know a little bit about each other. Like I see around 10 of you guys are there and some of you, I see your hands are raised. I'm not sure if you have any questions. So you could either, okay, all your questions can be posted in the chat room, in the chat box over here. Yeah. So please let us know where you're joining us from, because right now I'm sitting in our Riyadh office and we are, so I'm in a different time zone. So is our trainer as well. So I would like to know where you guys from today. All right, so until I hear all the questions, I'll dive right into our session today. So first of all, a warm, hearty welcome to each and every one of you for joining us on this Ignite session at Westport for Business. I understand a Saturday morning or an afternoon, wherever you guys are from. It's not easy commitment, but then the fact that you all are here just shows your commitment to learning more, understanding more, or exploring more than anything. I think most of learning is quite honestly exploring, isn't it? So thank you so much for that. To begin with, I'm Sakina Muhammad. I'm a training consultant at Westport for Business, and I'm going to be your host for today. And we have our trainer as well today, and I'm going to talk about him in a little bit time. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the topic in general today as well. Meanwhile, I'm not sure if I'm getting any response. Also, I'm not sure if you're able to send text message, if that's the if I'm not sure if you have any constraint on that. So if you could let me know, if you can text, say hi, a thumbs up, that would be great. I just want to know that we are all able to communicate here. This is going to, I see hands raised, but I'm not kind of sure why is there, are you able to text? I'm not sure what's happening. Are you able to text? I just wanted to know. Can you type something? Hi, hello. Sebastian? Oh, you're putting it in the Q&A part. Okay.
No. The chat is disabled.
Chat is disabled. Oh, good Lord. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm wondering how do I... Okay, I have a few people sitting at the back end. Nitin, at the back end, would you be able to help us enable the chat? Because I have enabled the chat from my side. I'm not sure why there is a...
It says chat disabled.
Yeah, but we haven't. It's enabled. Ah, okay, got it.
Yeah, now it is okay.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Sebastian. Thank you so much. Okay. It's quite sad, isn't it? You guys are trying to talk to me, and then I didn't know the chat was disabled here. Okay, great. Thank you so much. All right. So where are you all joining from? You're in India. Sebastian is in India. What about Desmond is in Nigeria? Okay, now I'm getting all the chat, and this is good. Looks good. Okay. Hi, Button James. Where are you joining us from? Carrie's from Dubai, Kathy from Dubai. Okay, great. So we are all in the similar timeline, except Nigeria, except our friend from Desmond from Nigeria, Ahmed from Dubai. All right, great. Oh, Sweden, we have somebody from Sweden as well. Great, Nicola. Great, DRC, Francis. I'm sorry for. Can you explain what DRC is? I'm sorry for being silly here. I'm trying to see. Where's GRC from? All right, so okay, I'm quite from UK. We have, what's your full name? We have somebody from UK as well, Rubesh. All right, okay, fine. Abu Dhabi, UK. All right, great. Thank you so much. Just the fact that we're able to communicate with each other suddenly, like, opens a beautiful gate to just understand each other more. All right, great. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about, I'm not going to bore you much, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about what Westwood for Business is all about, and what we do over here at Westwood Ignite. So, sorry, just trying to, okay. So Westwood, for those who are joining us for the first session, I'm assuming some of you are recurring joinees, some of you this is your first time you're in this session. So for those of you who are joining for the first time, let me quickly brief you about what Westwood for Business Ignite. So this series is our online workshop and webinars organized for Westwood for Business. And these sessions aim to provide virtual training solutions to bridge the competency gap, mainly the competency gap between organizations, in the best way possible, to be honest, primarily to address critical issues within the organizational context through professional development programs. So we were wondering, like, every Westwood for Business is the training and development division of Westwood University College. So as you know, Westwood University College or Westwood Education Group is primarily an education group, but then the wealth of knowledge, the data, the resource that we have over there are amazing. And in fact, the more amazing and productive and for the online, so for the corporate section. So that's the reason we have to bridge this competency gap, and so gap, because we have this wealth of resource, and then connecting this with the corporate world is what we do best. And that's how Westwood for Business started, basically solutions for business in general. And Westwood Ignite, the webinar session, started because we wanted to connect to people and have a one-on-one session, just like an intimate session like this. And so a little bit of our trainers and what kind of topics are we able to talk about, and see how that benefits you and how we can take this relationship forward. These sessions aim to provide, Westwood for Business Ignite sessions are designed to be relevant and responsive to the current business trends and business needs around the world. These sessions are led by Westwood for Business trainers who are professionals and consultants with years of industry experience. So that's basically what I would say what Westwood for Business Ignite session is all about, the training session. What we're trying to do over here is trying to transform your workforce into future leaders. So Westwood for Business have multiple sections. So we have training for business, we have education for business, and we have consulting for business. So we cover the entire 360-degree angle of what comes under learning and development and education, mainly for the corporate world. So okay, now I see the chat. DRC's Democratic Republic of Congo. All right, thank you so much for that. We do have a lot of students from there as well. Great, thank you. So let's dive right into our to welcome our speaker for today. Today's session, out of all the Ignite sessions we had, today's session is quite different. It's a session on managerial effectiveness. You will have access to some practical tools and techniques to boost your team performance. Like while we're doing this, it's just not boosting our team performance, but it's also managing ourselves. So that's the reason, the whole concept of managerial effectiveness. The session is led by Mr. Alan Lucas. He's the Associate Dean for Institutional Relations at Westwood University College and a strategic management consultant. Alan has over 20 years of experience in various roles, such as managing and consulting, including a decade of teaching and training experience. He has contributed to the content development of numerous programs for a number of prestigious universities. After completing his MBA at the Western Michigan University in the United States, he worked with the IT companies in contract staffing and IT project outsourcing. Following that, he also worked as an independent HR consultant for IT firms, sourcing talent and meeting training needs. His passion for education led him to turn to teaching and training, and some of the courses Alan has covered include strategic management, human resources development, organizational behavior, marketing management, and change management. Like, the list of expertise under expertise managed by Alan, and the strategy or management or consulting is endless. And I wouldn't want to take too much of his time, because here you're here to hear him speak and see how we can contribute to managerial effectiveness. So Alan, can I please have you on board, please? There you go, the man of the hour. Thank you so much, Alan. So, all right. So thank you so much. Just a little bit of not much housekeeping, to be honest. Whatever questions you have, you can either put in the chat room, but mind you, when Alan is taking the session, he wouldn't be able to look into the chat and respond to you immediately. So I would suggest you to park all your questions in the Q&A section, because that's where it would be parked and all the questions would be there. And after Alan's session, it would be easier for him to go back and address all your questions. So if you put it in the chat box, sometimes what happens is like it might just get lost. Yeah. So thank you so much, everyone. So Alan, over to you.
Thank you, Sakina. Thanks for the introduction. And welcome, everyone. And I'm very, very thankful that you took your time to join in for this program. I see a lot of known people here. So it's more like a get together. And for those who don't know me enough, I'll give a small profile and brief about that. But let me get started. I hope all of you can see the screen and I'm visible, right? So let's talk about what is the objective of the program. So here we are going to talk, and this program is specifically for managers, senior managers, and even business owners. So we are going to specifically look at declining team performance and how to effectively deal with that, and if possible, turn it around. We're going to also look at what studies have revealed are the 7 factors that drive engagement. Now, we'll talk about engagement a little bit more later, what it is and how that affects your business results. But what are the 7 factors that drive engagement? How can that influence your managerial approach, philosophy, and actions? And the next one is how to set up your own performance management and engagement system in your teams. So hopefully I'll be able to use this session to give you adequate information on how to do that. If you stay till the end of the program, I will be sharing with you 5-step performance management and engagement system blueprint that you can immediately apply in your organizations. There is also a done for you template that you can use for performance coaching sessions with your team members. So these are free for you. If you stick around until the end, you'll be given instructions on how to access that. All right, so there is a surprise bonus at the end as well. Yeah, hopefully that will help you a lot in your business. So wait for the surprise bonus at the end. Now, something about me. We already talked about my qualifications. There has been some background in terms of employee performance coaching, HR consulting, training, some of the companies I have consulted with. I would specifically like to draw your attention to one of the first jobs that I had, which was to set up an offshore team for a US-based company. And this was when I was at the age of 25, going on to 26, and I was quite young. And I had to manage a large team. So there was a morning shift and there was a night shift as well. And that is the first time when I was in actually a managerial position. And that is when I got to know the challenges of managing teams. So we are going to talk about some of these aspects, and we're going to talk about some things I wish I knew then that I could have done my job better. Now, when you talk about managerial effectiveness, there is nothing that you can learn from a textbook, or possibly you can learn from reading, watching YouTube videos, etc. It is something you learn from experience. But what you can do is to understand what works and try to apply it. And from your experience, you can see how different contexts can affect these principles, and then you master it slowly. So hopefully this session will allow you to understand those, and maybe some of these ideas will work for you in your organizations. Now, please, a disclaimer before I start. I'm not saying that everything that we discuss here will work for you in your organization, because you're from different countries, different organizations, different industries. It will not perfectly work. but it is possible that some of these principles, you might be able to refine it to suit your teams and your specific context. So with that, let's get started. This webinar is specifically for senior and mid-level managers, business owners, entrepreneurs, and also HR managers and management professionals who want to apply these principles or expand their knowledge. So let's get started with what are the challenges that the managers face today. In the past 6 months, I have taken some effort to talk with some of the senior leaders in the industry, and I have listed out the consistent themes that arise from my discussions. And one of the things that they tell me is that my team members are not taking responsibility. I have to get after them and constantly remind them. Yeah. How many of you feel that this is something that is relevant to you? Yeah. So you have team members and you have assigned them tasks, but then you are the one who is having to constantly get after them and get things done. Is that a situation that you face? Next one that I hear is that if I'm not there, work doesn't get done. If my physical presence is not there, sometimes work doesn't get done because my presence is the motivator. Yeah. Otherwise, things are half done, incomplete, and I have to personally be there. That is another theme that arose. A constant complaint I hear also is that employees do not take initiative and try to solve problems. I need to get involved in it each time. And another one that is interesting, one manager said that my employees work 9 to 5. They're very particular about the timing, right? 9 to 5. But for me, there is no specific timing. I have to work round the clock, ensure that things are done, follow up, ensure delivery, and make up for whatever mistakes my team has done. So what happens with all of this? What is the result? As managers, the larger your team, more the responsibility, you start finding yourself constantly stressed out and you feel drained and you have no control on your most precious resource, which is time. And what is this time for? Time for personal growth, time with family, time for relaxation. So as you become, as you go higher and higher in the organization, if you find yourself having less and less control on your time, that is a red flag to watch out for. So time freedom is something, all the money you make, if you don't have time for family, for relaxation, for personal growth, then what is the use of all that you're making? So a manager's personal time is constantly hijacked by people and situations. Then how can you have time freedom? So hopefully the principles that I share with you today will help you reclaim some of that freedom. So a solution for this is to have a team of high performance individuals. Now you might be saying that, yeah, it is easier said than done. Where do you find such people? What are the characteristics of high performance individuals? Well, these are people who are committed to work, take initiative and responsibility, solve problems, think innovatively, works well with others to achieve goals, and they are focused on self-development and constantly improving their skills. Sounds too good to be true though. Yeah, where do you find them? The truth is that you cannot find them. You have to create them. This is something that I would like you to think about. If you put a high performance individual under a bad leader, now in terms of bad leader, I'm not saying that the person is bad, rather they lack necessary managerial skills. The high performing individual will either leave the company or they will end up being a bad performer. The reverse is true as well. If you put a low performance individual under a good leader, they will also either leave the company or they will end up being a good performer. So this is something that I don't know if you agree or not, but this is something that I have noticed, and possibly maybe once you start noticing now, you might find this as true. So the characteristics of a poor performer, the reverse of whatever the high performance individual was. They are not committed to their work, does not take initiative or responsibility, does not try to solve problems, do not think innovatively enough, do not work well with others, nor are they concerned about improving their skills and competencies. So now we are going to the core of what the session is about, and I would like your full attention here. I want to ask the question, what drives performance in organizations, among individuals? What is it that drives performance? And this has been a question that has been asked ever since the Industrial Revolution has been there, to understand what is it that we can do as organizations and leaders to get people to perform better, so that we have more time as managers and we can get more things done, manage more teams, take on more projects, if only we had high performance teams under us. So one thing is for sure, compensation and benefits, clear KPIs. Yes, I see answers here. Clear KPIs necessary. Give them the tools and resources. Very good. Yes. So these are some of the things. There are other things as well that we will talk about. So good work, Desmond, Veda. Now, one thing is for sure, just because you give good compensation and benefits, there is no guarantee that the performance will be influenced and it will be high. So I see more, Griffith says, good working environment, recognition, training and practice. Very good. Excellent. Now, let's try to get to the bottom of it. Let's try to understand this together, and let's try to, grasp the key principles, possibly that we can go back and use in our workplaces. So I see Kerry has also shared constructive feedback. Very good. And I'm going to, so you're right, all that you have mentioned are parts of it. So we're going to talk about that. Goal setting and planning this. So if you have to put together a performance equation, all right, performance is equal to capability plus willingness. Do you agree? Just because a person is capable doesn't mean that they're going to perform. Just because a person is willing or motivated doesn't mean that they will perform. They have to have both of these in equal amounts. For example, you have to have 50% capability, 50% willingness. If you have willingness but no capability, performance is affected. If you have capability but you are not willing to give your all, then performance is affected as well. While capability can be developed, you can offer mentoring, training, all of that. Willingness is subjective because it's a feeling that comes within the human being, and there are multiple factors that can affect that. Feelings, emotions can be affected by multiple things, and willingness is a feeling, right? Yes, Vandana has shared culture of the organization, person goals, satisfaction of goals. Excellent. So what does science say about this? Now, there has been active study that has been conducted by many organizations. Major of them are Gallup, American Society of Training and Development, Society of Human Resource Management, Dale Carnegie Institute. Now, out of this, specifically, I'd like to focus on Gallup, because Gallup over the years, they have done 25 million employee manager interviews. And they have come up with specific principles and practices that if companies employ will lead to higher engagement. And engagement is the secret to willingness. If you have engaged employee, they are willing to give their best. So the secret is engagement, and they have done studies on employee engagement, and they have tried to find out what are the key practices and principles. So what have they found out? They found out that if you have high levels of employee engagement, there is 81% reduction in absenteeism. In healthcare companies, 58% reduction in patient safety incidents. In companies where there is high turnover of employees, employee retention really suffers, it has been reduced by 18%. For companies where the turnover is not so high, it has been reduced to 43% further. In terms of theft, employees stealing stuff from the organization, it has been reduced 28%. Safety incidents, accidents reduced by 64%. Quality issues and defects reduced by 41%. Increase of customer loyalty. Now, how does employee engagement affect customer loyalty? Anybody? How? We are talking about employee engagement, but here it says 10% increase in customer loyalty. How does that affect it? Anyone? Well, employees, how they behave and interact with the customer has a great impact on exactly the ripple effect. How they feel and how they act from that feeling has a great impact on the customer feelings as well. That is right. Veda, Vandana, Divya, etc. Now, productivity, engaged employees, 18% sales increase, profitability up to 23% increase. So these are substantial benefits that you get from engaged employees. Yes, Griffith is saying when well engaged, they'll treat customers better and make customers feel better. Exactly. Yes, and there are examples of companies like Zappos who entirely capitalized on this. Zappos, Southwest Airlines, they didn't focus on the customer, they focused on the employee. And they focused on ensuring that the employee felt satisfied, happy, engaged. And that in turn led to satisfied and happy customers as well. So we have all this information now. Science tells us, if you have engaged employees, your performance will be high, provided, yes, they are capable and they are right for the job. They agree with the organizational goals and mission, etc. Now, some of the consistent statements that Gallup identified from their survey questions are these. First one is that consistently this theme arises. Someone seems to care about me as a person. I'm not seen only as labor, someone who is here only for money, they pay me and it's done. No, I'm seen as much more, I'm valuable, I have some things to contribute and somebody sees that. That is one thing that comes out consistently from their surveys. Next is, at work, my opinions count. I feel heard. Now it's very important, not that all their opinions will be converted into decisions, but they feel heard. Next is, my supervisor or someone at work regularly talks to me about my progress. That means that there is feedback that is given to them about their performance and how to do better. Exactly, Desmond. Organization must walk the talk of their duty of care. Another one is that they have a clear understanding of how their role contributes to the mission and purpose of the organization. What they do is significant. For example, if there is an employee working in the hospital and they are involved in cleaning the hospital, say. Now, rather than seeing their job as just using the mop and the broom, they see the significance of their work. When patients come, it is necessary to ensure that the premises are clean, it is hygienic, because to a great extent, what he or she does as a cleaner has a great impact on the lives of people and on the mission of the organization. So that kind of linkage is there for employees who feel engaged. They understand that it's not just a job. I'm not just sweeping or cleaning. I am doing something that actually contributes to the mission and purpose of the organization. Very important. The next one is, I have a clear understanding of what is expected of me. There is zero ambiguity. Now, this suffers in most companies in terms of role clarity. What is expected of me? What am I supposed to do? What is it that I'm going to be measured on? So we're going to talk about that a little bit as well. Kerry Clark says, reduced absenteeism, reduces training, recruiting cost to companies, as well as building consistency with clients. Excellent. So I'm so glad that you're sharing those opinions and adding on to this. Excellent. Thank you. And the next one is that I have the tools and the materials and resources to do my job effectively. If you have capable and willing people, but they don't have the tools, equipment, softwares, access to resources, then performance will not be guaranteed. Another consistent theme is that development opportunities are provided. I am given formal and informal opportunities for personal growth. Now, one of the major reasons why studies have shown people leave organizations is because of lack of career development opportunities. And if you look at your own careers, you'll find that that is true. It is not about greater salaries and benefits. Do I have a clear career path? And are there ways in which my career is being enhanced by being in this job? Is there a future for me in this career and in this company? So this is important question to answer. And the next one is that in the past week, I have received recognition and praise for doing good work. Remember, it is not sometime, it is very recently, I have received recognition and praise for doing good work. Somebody noticed my efforts. So there is frequent acknowledgement of work well done. So these are some of the findings of the survey questions, right? And how do we know all this now, and I think you have also shared this. How do we now put it all together so that we can prepare a system that we can employ in our organizations? So our effort is to do that, and by the end of this, possibly you will have a greater understanding of how to do that. So let us boil down all these factors and let us make it into a list of 7 drivers of employee engagement. And I have put it as 1 to 7: being valued, empowerment to get results, feedback on performance, acknowledgement of ideas, recognition for accomplishments, clarity on role and expectation, and the last one, personal development opportunities. Now, this will be shared with you. The key points from this session will be shared with you, and you'll be able to possibly go through it after the session as well. Now, to make things easier, I've tried to make it into something that we can remember. B, FAR, clap, right? So B, being valued, E for empowerment, F for feedback, A for acknowledgement, R for recognition, and CL for clarity, P for personal development opportunity. So these are the 7 drivers of employee engagement that science reveals. How do we use it now? But then somebody will say, what about salaries, incentives, and bonuses? Don't they matter? I think most bosses and most owners ask, so then why, if this is what is important, why should we offer high salaries and work on incentives and bonuses, right? This is something that top leaders ask. If this is what is important for engagement, why are we paying so much salary, incentives, and bonuses? Well, the truth is that if you don't have salaries, incentives, and bonuses, people will just refuse to enter the game. So this is just the criteria for entering the game. How they play in the game is where engagement aspects come in. But to have good people come into your team, you need to still offer salaries, incentives, and bonuses. So there is no escape from that. You heard the term. If you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. Have you heard that? If you pay peanuts, you'll get monkeys. So similarly, if you want good people, and if you want to acknowledge their value, you need to also ensure that the basic aspect in terms of the criteria of allowing them to perform is provided. Salaries, incentives, bonuses, good compensation package comes as a part of that. So how do you integrate these practices into a system that you can apply in your organization? So we are going to talk about that now. Now, I understand that in this short session, it is not entirely possible to tell you how exactly to do it, but the overall idea I hope to convey to you. So let's get started. So let's think about it as a 5-step system. All right. So the 5-step system involves starting with identification of clear roles. And in most companies, you'll find that this is not there. There is no role clarity. You hire people, there is no specific job description. If there are job descriptions, it is not maintained or it is not accurate when they actually enter the organization. Then clarifying accountability areas. Now, this is very important. There are things that every role is accountable for, and they can be responsible for many, many things, right? Let's take a job of a marketing manager. A marketing manager has possibly multiple things that they are responsible for. They're responsible for content publishing. They're responsible for social media. They're responsible for, say, vendor management. All of them, all of that they are responsible for, but what are they accountable for? Now, when you talk about accountability, the idea is that a person cannot be accountable for more than one or maximum two things. And this is the idea where you say that the buck stops here. That means that final answer this person has to give, because that is the person who is accountable for this result. So the marketing manager is accountable for what? What do you think? Is it for writing content or publishing posts? What are they accountable for, not responsible for? Finally, what is one thing that in any organization they might be accountable for? You don't have to be right, just you can just give your ideas. They're responsible for many things. Leads, yes, exactly, Bachchan. So lead generation is what they are accountable for. They are accountable for how many leads have come in, because the end goal of all marketing is to generate leads and inquiries, and that is their accountability factor. Now, the next is very important, and this is not usually done in organizations, which is to establish coaching relations. That is, the supervisor and the subordinate sit together, and they have to find the time to sit together, and they have to build that coaching relation. I'll talk about that. The fourth step is to develop performance clarity with the GROW model. Now, GROW model is a specific coaching model, and I'll give you a brief overview of this. How do you develop performance clarity with the GROW model? And the last one, the fifth one, it is monthly, not bi-weekly, monthly, at least 30 minutes, you are able to spend time with each of your core team members. Now, you might have a team of 15, but they might be handling other teams. So who are the core team members, which might boil down to, say, 5 or 6 core team members, and you manage through them. Now, if you're directly managing 15 people, you're just going to be burned out. So you might have to structure your organization and your teams in such a way that you are managing not more than 6-7 people at a time. And if that is possible, you will be able to spend time and build these coaching relationships. And for that, you need to spend 30 minutes. Once a month is sufficient, where you integrate the 7 engagement practices. So I'm going to talk about the engagement practices as well. Again, you don't have to memorize. All this will be shared with you in the download that you get. Exactly. Thank you, Kerry. Now, Kerry has said, this is why a consistent appraisal system is important for clear goal and objective setting at all levels, which is very true. But the sad part, unfortunately, is that most companies do not have a consistent appraisal system. This session is not for organizations. It is more for managers. Now, without getting approval, without trying to change policies, without trying to change the minds of people on top of you, how can you as a manager start getting results from your team? So this session is focused on that. On an organization-wide consistent appraisal system, like Kerry says, is absolutely essential. But the sad truth is that many organizations, mid-size, small, and even larger organizations I've seen, they don't have that in place. And this is possibly due to lack of manpower, the time and effort that goes into it, or lack of knowledge. But here, let's focus on you. You as a manager, mid-level, senior level manager, if you can have a tool in which, forget about other managers in the organization, only you can apply something that will lead to better results in your organization based on the science that we have learned from all the studies that I went through. What is it that we can do? So these are 7 practices that you integrate, and I'll tell you how to integrate this. One is you start with potential appraisal. You get in employees usually through just an interview. Many companies do that. Very few companies actually have tests in place to check their aptitude, assess their skills, and then see if their personality matches the kind of role that you are looking to have them fill. And not doing that is dangerous because interviews are just an eye wash. They will show the best version of themselves, but you don't really know how they will perform until you give them the offer, start paying them salary, and get them on board. And then it's too late to do anything about it. So is there a way in which your recruitment hiring system can already assess for the potential of these people so that you can assess whether they fit the roles and especially your own definition of those roles? So that is important. That is one thing you could possibly do. Second thing is role clarity and setting accountability. Now I'm going to share with you a template also that managers can use. And in that we'll talk about an example. The third one is expectations for performance are clear, realistic, and measurable. So the goal settings that is done, it is set in a manner that is clear, realistic, measurable, and both the supervisor and the subordinate, they are on the same page when it comes to setting this. Fourth practice is to ensure that you have this connect between what the organization's mission is and what the significance of that person's role is. If that, and that is the job of the manager. Yes, Divya Kumar, SMART goals, that's right. So when you talk about expectations for performance, setting goals, SMART goals would be the way to go. You connect them, their roles and the significance of the role to the achievement of the mission of the organization. Very important. And then you use one-on-one coaching and feedback. This is so important because if you remember, the science says that, remember, there is somebody in the company who cares about me. I get regular feedback about my performance. I feel valued in the organization. I feel that my voice is heard. Now, how do you fulfill all this without having set aside time to allow that to happen? Yeah, you need to have those moments where you could make them feel valuable. You could give performance feedback. You could guide them to improve their performance, guide them to develop their careers. Now, for that, you need that one-on-one coaching feedback. So your leadership style now moves from just managing to a coaching leadership style. Then recognition and rewards, not for the sake of, just for the sake of it, right? But people understand that it is for something that they have done and they know why they have gotten that recognition or reward. It is important to do that. Otherwise, the entire value of what you're doing is lost. And the seventh one is focusing on personal development opportunities for your subordinates. So these are 7 practices. Again, these are in the download that you'll be getting soon. These are practices that you need to integrate into your managerial approach and philosophy. So what are the key things now if you have to set up your own performance management and engagement system? I have gone over the science. We have talked about the key factors. We've talked about the specific practices you need to include. Now, here are a few steps that you can use. You have to set accountability, monthly one-on-one meetings. Now, the goals are initiated by the team member, very important. And when we talk about GROW model, and I'll give you an example of how to do that, you'll find that you are not instructing them that this is the goal you should follow. Rather, you elicit from them what is it that they think they should be doing and possibly guide them in the direction of what they should be setting as goals. Conversations for feedback, elicit suggestions, mutually decide on action plans. Now, personal development goals need to be given equal importance as department goals. This might be new to somebody who might be thinking, why? We are paying them salary to not fulfill their personal development goals. We are here to fulfill our department goals and we are paying them a salary for this. Why should we look at developing them? If you want to retain good people and if you want them to stick around, you need to ensure that you show that you care about their development as well. And I think there are many jobs I left because I didn't find any future in my career in those organizations. I felt my personal development was ignored. And then recognition of accomplishments. So let me now stop sharing the PPT, and I will share with you a template which will be also sent to you by email. And now this is a template that you can use to get started. You may have better templates and better ways to run your coaching sessions, but let me share this template with you, and let's see how you can do this and take the guesswork out of this. So ideally, once you set up the system, you might have to have a way to track the goals and may be consistent with this. Starting this and stopping this is worse than even trying to start. So ensure that you're consistent. Now, how do you be consistent? It is simple as setting up Google spreadsheets. So if you look at, let's look at the example of a marketing manager, right? The marketing manager, that is a role. You talk with the marketing manager in your first interaction and you say that, these are the 2 accountability areas that we have for your role, and not more than 2. It would be just too much. Just 1 or 2, even 1 is fine. One is lead generation and signups. If we are not getting lead generation and signups, you are answerable. Well, not in that tone though, but you have to convey that that person is answerable. The next is managing the marketing team. There is no need to escalate petty problems to you when you have a manager there handling marketing team. So if it is a content writer, if it's a social media marketer, if it's a analyst, marketing researcher, whatever, they manage their team. Yes, you can help them out with their decisions, problems, etc., but they try to solve the problems at their level first. So these are the 2 accountability areas for a marketing manager. Similar to this, you can do for any role. Now, when you engage in this activity, you will find that in most companies, you'll find that the role clarity is not there. Job descriptions are not proper. Job specifications are not proper. You might have to redo all of them, and which is good, which is going to help structure your organization and overall give some clarity to the entire team, what everybody is going to do and how they're going to be interacting with each other. So this is very important, this step in terms of setting accountability areas. Now, in the actions tab that you see here, this is where you can, when you have these monthly meetings, once a month at least, you meet with them and you identify not more than 3, max 4 goals. Now, how do you set the goals? If it's a marketing manager, you will sit with the marketing manager and say that, now, what do you think? You're not going to tell them, I want the goal to be X leads. Rather, you would ask them, what do you think should be your goal for the next 6 months? And allow them to say. Now, this part is very important, because if you want to get buy-in, it has to be their goal, not your goal, right? So what is it that you want to do and achieve and accomplish in the next 6 months for your department? So the marketing manager might say, I want to increase online signups by 20% a month. When? By when? Well, by the 1st of January. So this is through mutual discussion in the one-on-one coaching sessions that you have. So, and you decide the date. You are not going to instruct them, rather you're going to have them tell you. And that is important, that you take a more passive role in these coaching sessions. By when? Ask them, okay, to achieve this, what actions should we need to take? So they'll talk about content publication, SEO, LinkedIn marketing, Instagram posts, whatever. Who are the people involved that you're going to work with? Now remember, these people might be accountable for other things, not the same thing as the marketing manager, but they're going to work together with you. So there is Praful, there's the vendor team, there is Mati, and what are the matrices? Very specific. How many new content will go out every month? 25. If you're going to increase the Google rankings, how many levels of increase are you seeing? 4, 50 followers per month. So be as specific as you can. Now, it's not possible to be too specific sometimes in some tasks, but try to be having some matrices in place so that it is clear when you ask and they have clarity on what is expected of them. Very important. This is an Excel sheet that you will start, put it in your Google spreadsheet, and then you will share with them and make them an editor. And from the next meeting onwards, you will have them fill it out during the discussion. You'll open up this spreadsheet and you will start talking. So when you have this discussion, the spreadsheet is also updated. And then what are the daily and weekly management actions that needs to be done? So once you sit with that person, what have you done? What have you accomplished? You have made it clear what their accountability areas are. You have made it clear what they need to focus on in terms of goals and outcomes. And you are now, they will say that on January 1st, you meet and the signups have not gone up by 20%. Why? Well, because there was a software we needed to buy and we didn't buy that. So that is something you have to solve. So you understand where the bottleneck is and you will be able to take action in those areas. And because it is the accountability factor, they will keep pestering you till it is done. Or maybe you'll suggest some alternative. You cannot, go with that idea that they are talking about. So this allows you to, one, understand what each person is doing, understand where they have reached, how well they are doing, and if they're doing well, this is also a good time to appreciate what they have done. If they have achieved it, excellent. Possibly you might have a team meeting, you might give certificates, whatever. Also, these are areas where you can suggest to them better ideas, and also ask them to think about innovative ideas to solve certain challenges which you or the person cannot solve just with the resources you have right now. So all this kind of regular meetings allows you to implement all the signs that we talked about when it comes to engagement. All right. And then you always end with talking about professional development. So this has nothing to do with the company. For example, the person wants to become a good speaker, and they feel that they are very shy and it would help them as a leader to speak better. And this is what you ask them, what do you want to do on a professional level that will help you? And possibly it's your desire, you want to achieve that. And they say, I want to become a good speaker. So you help them develop their skills as well. Ask them, by when do you think you will achieve that? What actions do you think you will take to achieve that? And then what matrices should be put? For example, by 25th February 2024, I would have completed delivering 20 speeches. It is assumed that after 20 speeches, you are now a better speaker, right? The second goal might be doing an MBA. So enroll for a program at Westford and complete it not on time, submitting assignments on time. All those might be the matrices. So again, not more than two here too. Don't clutter it with too many goals, too many for each of these areas. You have ample here in actions, not more than 3 or 4. Professional development, not more than 2. Accountability areas, not more than 2. It's a very simple way, but it allows you to harness all the different factors, 7 factors that we talked about. And this interaction becomes highly fruitful as you continue doing it and as you're consistent with this. So I hope that was clear. I'm going to get back to our PowerPoint. Is this clear till now? Did you get some idea of how to do it? I know there will be a lot more questions, but just type in yes, no, if it is clear, if it makes sense. All right, thank you. All right, now let me share the screen. Now, the last part that I need to talk. So what I have done till now, we have talked about the science of engagement, employee engagement. We have tried to identify, boil it down to 7 factors. And we have tried to put together a practice that we can employ individually without the necessity for any supervisor or the management or the directors to approve. You can do this yourself in the role of the manager. You can do this, take the initiative to do this, even if the company doesn't do this or they don't have a proper appraisal system in place. So that is the beauty of it. Now, let me also. So the performance management and engagement system setup are in these 8 to 9 steps. Now, there is something called the GROW model. While the session time is not enough for us to really discuss this, GROW model is a way of doing your conversations. And there is a lot to learn, and all managers will benefit by this. GROW model is actually a coaching model. It allows you to structure your conversations in such a way that you get buy-in, participation, and you get real results from the people that you're working with. Now, how do you do this? So it starts with goals. So when you have these performance coaching sessions, you start by asking them the goals. You start by asking them, what are the goals? Remember, in the template, and you capture it in the template that you saw. Identify the goals, ask them, what is happening now? What is the reality now? What is happening now? Why are we not able to achieve this? What needs to be done? Right? So understanding, taking stock of what is happening now is the reality aspect. Then you ask the question, once they clarify, this is the challenge, these are the hurdles, then you ask, what can be done? What is possible? Asking this question allows them to be innovative, allows them to be giving you creative ideas, rather than, whenever they come to you, you give a solution. And I suggest you practice this each time. Whenever somebody comes to you with a problem, and I think Nader had shared it with me earlier, that you come with a solution, not just the problem. In that way, you're forcing them to use their innovation, their creative thinking, because a lot of potential exists in the people who are directly involved with the task than you, who is trying to manage so many other things. So ask them to give the ideas, and you can filter through them using your judgment on what the organization wants and from your experience as well. So the opportunity part is allowing them to come out with the creative ideas rather than you giving it to them. Very important. The next part is setting the action plan. What will you commit to doing now? Since these are the ideas and these are the goals that we have, what will you do now as a next step? Capture it in the template that you saw. So in this way, what we have done is using the GROW model, using the 7 factors, and using the entire PMES system, we have tried to capture all the factors that lead to employee engagement. When you do this, you will be able to bring a change in the performance of the individuals. Now, will it work all the time? Possibly not, because contexts differ, cultures are different, situations, possibly you might be called as a manager, but you don't have the authority to implement this, or you don't have the people directly reporting to you. It happens in many organizations. They report to multiple people. So then who should you apply this to? So all these are challenges that when it comes to individual situations, it happens in that manner, right? So these are the key aspects about setting up the performance management and employee engagement system based on the science that we have out there. Now, I'm at the end of my session, but before you go, I told about the surprise bonus. Would you like to apply this and see results in your own team? Now, we have talked about generic principles. We have talked about a generic system. How would you like to see whether it will work for your team specifically? Now, for that, here is the surprise bonus. There is a 45-minute free session. It's a one-on-one session. If you want to make use of it to see how this will fit your specific team and your context. And I have a link here. I'll share it with you in the chat now. So the dates are 24, 25, 26, and 27. 4 days, 5 days. Hold on, let me just share this. Share this link here. And mornings 9 to 11:30 UAE time. This is the link. I don't know. Do you see the link? Can you all see the link? You can go in there, and if you want a free session, and if you want to talk more about it, or if you have you want more clarifications, right? If you want examples of how this worked, where else did it work, and you want to talk to me, I'm available the days that are mentioned on the calendar. So you can fix those dates, and then I will be available on the timings. It is from 9 a.m. to 11:30 UAE time. Beyond that, I would not be available. And also it's only for a limited number of days. So look forward to meeting you if you have specific questions on that. Now to end with, I would also like to talk about what Westward offers. What we do as part of Ignite, which is like an outreach part of our programs in terms of certified, chartered management institute certified, Inspire and Lead Management Program. So this is coaching for executive managers. We just finished coaching for a set of managers from Saudi Arabia. Now this is for 10 weeks. The certificate is issued from Chartered Management Institute. You will have variety of faculty, industry experts talking about variety of subjects, starting from financial aspects, how to manage that, strategic thinking, communication, leadership and team building, and all the different aspects are available. If you are more interested in knowing about this, you will be given a feedback form, and in that you can write, ask for more details about this, right? So hopefully that has been helpful for you.